In May 2019, SoftBank's Masayoshi Son stood in front of investors and announced a $10.5 billion bet on WeWork. The co-working company was valued at $47 billion. Son called founder Adam Neumann a genius, compared him to Steve Jobs, to Elon Musk. This wasn't just an investment, it was a vision of the future. 4 months later, it was all gone. WeWork's IPO filing revealed the company was burning $700 million every quarter. Revenue was growing, sure, but losses were growing faster. Neumann had trademarked the word "we" and sold it back to his own company for $5.9 million. He owned buildings that WeWork leased from him. He brought tequila shots to board meetings. He surfed between investor calls. The IPO was pulled. Valuation dropped from $47 billion to $8 billion in 6 weeks. Neumann was forced out with a $1.7 billion golden parachute. SoftBank had to inject another $5 billion just to keep the lights on. And here's the thing. SoftBank didn't learn, because 1 year earlier they'd already made an even bigger mistake. 2018. SoftBank dumped $7.7 billion into Uber at a $76 billion valuation. This was supposed to be the safe bet. The winner. The ride-sharing wars were over and Uber had won. Except Uber lost $8.5 billion in 2019 alone. Driver incentives, regulatory battles, international expansion that went nowhere. SoftBank's stake cratered. The Vision Fund's returns collapsed. Masayoshi Son stood in front of investors in 2020 and admitted his judgment had been poor in many ways. That's billionaire speak for, "I screwed up catastrophically." Uber eventually became profitable. In 2023, 5 years later. When you overpay by tens of billions, even winning feels like losing. But if SoftBank was reckless, Meta went all in on a future nobody asked for. Late 2021. Mark Zuckerberg doesn't just launch a new product. He rebrands the entire company. Facebook becomes Meta. The announcement is surreal. Zuckerberg promises the metaverse will be the next evolution of the internet. Virtual reality, digital avatars, entire economies inside headsets. He commits to spending at least $10 billion per year. As of late 2025, Meta has invested over $70 billion into its Reality Labs division. That's not a typo. $70 billion. Meanwhile, Horizon Worlds, Meta's flagship VR app, had fewer than 200,000 monthly users at its lowest point. Employees called it a ghost town. Zuckerberg's own avatar was mocked for looking like a Wii character from 2006. The stock tanked. So Wall Street analysts started calling Reality Labs a black hole. Zuckerberg keeps insisting the metaverse will take a decade to mature. Maybe he's right. Maybe in 2030 we'll all be working in VR offices. But when you've burned $70 billion and counting on a vision most people don't want, just wait 10 years starts to sound less like strategy and more like sunk cost fallacy. At least Meta is building towards something. Google just tried to force people into Google+. Launched 2011. Designed to kill Facebook. Google restructured the entire company around it. Employee bonuses were tied to Google+ adoption. Features crammed into Gmail, YouTube, search. You couldn't leave a YouTube comment without creating a Google+ account. Users hated it. The interface was confusing. Nobody's friends were there. Average session time? 7 seconds. Facebook users were spending 20 minutes per session. Google+ couldn't keep people for 7 seconds. By 2015, engagement was dismal. Then in 2018, a data breach exposed 500,000 users, and Google used it as an excuse to shut the whole thing down. If you have to force people to join your platform, you've already lost. Microsoft tried the same playbook with Zune. Hundreds of millions spent to kill the iPod. Launched 2006. Bigger screen, wireless sharing. It came in brown. Apple had 75% market share. Zune never cracked 10%. Microsoft kept trying. New models, rebranding. Free giveaways at conferences. Nothing worked. By 2011, quietly discontinued. 5 years late to a market someone else owns? You're not competing, you're donating. Amazon went even harder with the Fire Phone. 2014. Jeff Bezos personally championed it. 4 front-facing cameras for 3D. A button to buy anything you pointed at. Over $170 million spent on development. It flopped in weeks. The 3D feature gave people headaches. A TNT exclusivity killed adoption. Reviews were brutal. Amazon slashed the price from $199 to 99 cents. 99 cents. Within a year, $170 million write-down. Discontinued. Then there's MoviePass, 2017. MoviePass drops its price to $9.95 per month for unlimited movies. Millions sign up. It sounds amazing. The problem? MoviePass was paying theaters $12 to $15 per ticket while charging users $10 a month. They lost money on every customer. The more successful they got, the faster they died. The plan was to negotiate with theaters using subscriber data. Theaters refused. MoviePass started blocking popular movies, throttling users, changing terms mid-month. The service literally shut down mid-movie for some people. Bankrupt by 2020. If your business loses more money the more people use it, you don't have a business. But all of those were real companies trying to build real things. Juicero raised $120 million to build a $400 Wi-Fi connected juicer. $400. For a juicer that needed Wi-Fi. You bought proprietary juice packs for $5 to $7 each. The machine squeezed them. Investors included Google Ventures and Kleiner Perkins. Then Bloomberg published a video showing you could squeeze the packs by hand. You didn't need the machine at all. The internet exploded. Juicero became a meme overnight. Company slashed the price to $200, then pivoted to grocery delivery, then gave up. Dead in 17 months. Google Ventures funded this. One of the most sophisticated firms in the world looked at a $400 bag squeezer and said, yes. If Juicero was absurd, what came next was something worse. Between 2003 and 2015, Theranos raised over $700 million. Investors included Rupert Murdoch, Betsy DeVos, the Walton family, former cabinet secretaries. Elizabeth Holmes claimed her company could run hundreds of blood tests from a single finger prick. Theranos was valued at $9 billion. Holmes became the youngest self-made female billionaire. None of it worked. The technology didn't exist. Theranos was secretly using commercial machines for most tests. Their proprietary devices gave wildly inaccurate results. People made medical decisions based on faulty data. Investigative reporter John Carreyrou exposed the fraud in 2015. The company collapsed. Holmes was convicted in 2022. He got sentenced to more than 11 years in federal prison. Investors lost everything. And now we get to the big one. November 2022. FTX, the second largest crypto exchange in the world, collapses in 4 days. 4 days. Just 72 hours earlier, FTX was valued at $32 billion. Sam Bankman-Fried was everywhere. Super Bowl ads with Larry David, testifying before Congress, buying naming rights to the Miami Heat arena. He was the acceptable face of crypto. Investors included Sequoia Capital, SoftBank, Tiger Global, Temasek, and the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan. Then a CoinDesk article revealed that Alameda Research, Bankman-Fried's trading firm, was holding billions in FTT, FTX's own token. Binance's CEO announced he was selling his FTT holdings. The token crashed. Customers rushed to withdraw. The money wasn't there. FTX had been secretly lending billions in customer deposits to Alameda Research. When customers tried to withdraw, there was an $8 billion hole. Bankman-Fried was arrested in the Bahamas, extradited, convicted on 7 counts of fraud and conspiracy, sentenced to 25 years in federal prison. Sequoia Capital wrote down its $210 million investment to zero in a blog post titled, FTX We Messed Up. But here's the part that should terrify you. This wasn't a decade ago. This was 2022. After WeWork. After Theranos. After every lesson the investment world supposedly learned about charismatic founders and too good to be true returns. And billions of dollars still poured into a company that was just stealing customer money. If the smartest investors in the world can lose everything on a fraud this obvious, then maybe the problem isn't just bad luck. Maybe it's the system itself.